Internal challenges is probably yourself, huh? And the kind of passion that you have, for example, whether you are a Muslim or a non-Muslim. In Malaysia, your understanding is somewhat, this is the internal aspects of personal experience. These are basically the influence of the environment and how your experience has come along to make up the kind of views that you have about Sharia, about Islam, about learning. Then I think the challenges about learning as a student face, it's about the knowledge. For example, if you have the knowledge of Arabic, you are at a certain advantage to be a student of the Sharia environment. Your environment, if you are a madrasa student, of course you are exposed to different levels of influences, the external influences. Then if you are in a secular kind of setting, you would, as a student of Sharia, these will generate challenges that will influence you as a student. As I said, that there are students who are knowledgeable of Islam and to some extent of Sharia. They were brought up in a certain way, but there are others who are not really from that kind of background, and their needs and their kind of basic positions will be different to one another. Like I told you about the two types of classes, of student classes I had, some from Muslim backgrounds, very knowledgeable of the subject of Islam and Sharia, but not really capable of writing it. And then these are the different sort of skills that you need to have, all of them brought together to have a kind of comprehensive approach to the teaching and learning of the Sharia like we try to do nowadays. We combine, like in the IIUM, the basic philosophy was that our curriculum should combine equal numbers of modern disciplines and Sharia disciplines. They are taught side by side. The students are exposed to both of these. And I think that would influence the students, and they will become, their eyes will be open to the strengths and weaknesses of what they are learning. When you set this with them in the classes and tutorials and ask questions and so on, since they are both exposed to this and that, their comparative outlook is a little bit stronger. In the Islamic setting, Islamic university, I would come to class. We had tutorial classes, and that was designed for the purpose of responding to questions. I would ask people, do you have any questions? Dead silence. In Malaysia, was basically, you have to prod them to ask questions. They would not. Some people different, but generally this was the case. I went to America while I was teaching. You could see the difference. There, people ask a lot of questions, and they are not really scared whether their question maybe sound too elementary or too advanced, so they ask it. And that is better rather than being too quiet and disrespectful. I think Islamic jurisprudence as a discipline is very inquisitive. They ask, like in every mazhab, they criticize the other side very, frequently and in a respectful way. But we know ikhtilaf, disagreement is recognized, and they respect it. But that is not the spirit that you have really transmitted to the classroom. Our classrooms are still probably not quite as enlightened by the kind of mindset of ikhtilaf. Ask question, disagree, make a comment. These are all very good to develop in this among students nowadays. I think with the cultural differences, of course, I have already mentioned some that in the West, they ask questions. They have this inquisitive approach. They are taught to teach themselves to be, the idea is to develop the faculty of original thinking, through questions and answers. And students are often asked to write papers. You give them the reading list, whether they do read or not. That is a challenge. I think they are not effective users of library. And I think we should make the dependence on classroom less and less, and more encourage the student to use the library. And this is what I was studying in the West, and you become kind of find it inevitable to go and work with the library. They generate the need for you in the classroom that you have to go to do that. But I taught at IUM decades ago. Maybe now it's changing. But then at that time, I would try to encourage students to go to the library. These are the references. But they would, hardly use many. If they do use 1, 2, or limited 3, and even that was an effort. So I think that this is something the West has done better with their students, and that they are becoming more effective users of library and research input than Muslim students. Perhaps it is changing, but I'm describing my experience. I'm not saying that this is true in every case, no.